This review is covering Bill Browder's Freezing Order. Bill Browder is primarily known for his first book, Red Notice, and Freezing Order serves as a sequel to Red Notice in that it picks up where Red Notice left off. On first thought, most people would suspect that a book like Red Notice wouldn't need a sequel, but by the time I was finished with the book, I understood that there was more to the story than that which was included in the book Red Notice. Um, Boris Nemtsov's death serves as perhaps the most shocking event in the book, but what became clear is that when you are publicly challenging the Kremlin and its oligarchs with incriminating information, you are not safe. Bill Browder explains how in writing the book Red Notice, his life was threatened even furthermore. He also explains how the American legal system failed to protect him from Russians, as Russian interests do not end in Russia. If there's one key distinction between the Bill Browder's book Red Notice and Freezing Order, it is this. Red Notice tells the story of what it meant to do business in Russia with corrupt oligarchs, what kind of dangers that are associated with starting the Hermitage Foundation, and what kind of political aftermath there is for a hedge fund like that in Russia. It was a shocking story, and we know from Bill Browder's testimonies that the fears primarily centered in Russia. For those who don't live in Russia, it can't be avoided. However, the difference is in Freezing Order, he tells a story of what it means to actually challenge a Russian oligarch in a legal conflict. So while Red Notice focuses on challenging Russians internally in Russia, Freezing Order talks about the ramifications of challenging Russia internationally. It shows how the Kremlin has no boundaries and will threaten the lives of individuals outside of Russia, such as Vladimir Kara-Murza. Perhaps the most important chapter is the Disinformatia chapter, which addresses how the Russian narrative is not only limited to explicitly pro-Kremlin outlets. Even supposed dissenting voices are sometimes used to give credibility to Kremlin talking points. This point is echoed in books like Richard Giles' Russia's War on Everybody, but Browder's Freezing Notice, in Browder's Freezing Notice, we're given a real personal testimony of its validity. In many ways, Bill Browder's book Freezing Order is perhaps more important than Red Notice. Red Notice confirms that Russia is controlled by oligarchs. Most Americans probably already know this, and perhaps a few are indifferent. Freezing Order, however, shows that Russia's narrative and control is international. It is not limited to official Russian channels. This absolutely concerns Americans. We often think that Russia is a country limited by their own physical borders, but if an entire country is out to get you, don't be surprised when Westerners collaborate. Money has a way of generating support, and if Russia wants Westerners to hear its narrative, they will find a way to sell Americans this narrative as if it were their own American-born narrative. And if you challenge it, don't be surprised if Western powers fail to secure you in some way. This is why our collective response to Russian meddling should be vigilant. While the book Freezing Order is slightly less climatic than Red Notice, since it doesn't have the same incredible story surrounding Sergei Magnitsky, it does something the first book can't do. It explains the risks involved in writing a book like Red Notice. While Red Notice is a great book, we can only appreciate the risks associated with such a statement if we observe the aftermath. Freezing Order is the story of that aftermath. For this reason, I highly recommend Freezing Order to anyone who wishes to understand how powerful Russia's deep state truly is and how dangerous it can be to speak out. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. If you found that I misrepresented anything that Bill Browder said or wrote, please let me know in the comments. If you disagree with any of the conclusions I made, also let me know. I'm doing this for educational purposes, so exchanges are welcomed. If you like this video, feel free to click thumbs up or to subscribe. Thank you and have a good day, sir and ma'am.